Alright, so hello, welcome to, this is Granblue Radio number 223. By Reading Sheep. I work on Granblue underscore EN on Twitter. With me, as usual, is my crewmate and soon-to-be house guest. When house guests are like a thing again.
And first officer.
And first officer. That's
Hi, it's
DJ.
DJ.
Oh boy. So it's been an interesting couple of days in Granblue Fantasy. So let's get to it. Which one did you want to? Ooh, thank you for the follow, Tiger Lover 10190. All right. So you want to get to the new characters? You want to get to the new fight, or do you want to get to the big topic?
Let's save the big topic for last. So let's go with new characters first.
All right. So did you roll any of these or no?
I don't roll.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, one
I
of them
see
is. I was just gonna say one of them is related to your girl, so I was wondering if you checked out the expanded Weeb lore.
that is a surprise ticket. Tickets from now.
All right, that's fair. All right, we'll start then with Shion because we just mentioned her. So Shion's the all-new character. Where did she go?
Her
There it
weapon
is.
go to 4-star already.
Her weapon can already go to. All right, here we go. Let's start with the bonsai blade. Because I studied the samurai arts using a tome found far away from home, I have no teacher to tell me. Oh Lord,
I mean, she did. Remember, she didn't actually grow up in the East.
it's so they're doing another Mirin. I mean, they're friends too, aren't they?
I don't know. I can't read the Fate episode. I don't have her.
Well, you can read the intro, but anyway. So skill damage cap, small attack, big crit. Pretty interesting. Um,
The intro doesn't have that, by the way.
what was that? Oh, it doesn't.
No.
Okay. So anyway, so the weapon's pretty cool. Skill cap up is something that we got already a little bit of with what is it, the ninth something or other spear? Let me go take a look at my.
I thought that one was supplemental damage.
It is supplemental damage.
That's different.
Yeah, it's different, but it's very close. So I consider them very near to each other in my brain.
The problem is that the game does not. So
Well, by problem, I mean that's something that works in our favor. Yeah, that's right. There is no arts on this. Fire had previously gotten arts from our boy Ushumgal. Bless the bless the
now
proving
you can have
grounds
a crit
weapon.
weapon that has it.
Yeah, I mean, look at what I'm doing with this thing. It's like it's not a crit grid at all.
You can crit.
No, actually, the Inferno's tempering does have skill cap on it. It's included in tempering
Ah, okay.
along with supplemental. Anyway, let's go back to this. So cool weapon. Um, the fact that it actually is a katana is important. We'll get to that in a second.
Thanks, Shion.
All right. So Shion, number one, I find it really funny that she's voiced by another Cygames regular. That this is our girl Erica in Shadowverse.
Ah, okay.
She's been a rock of Shadowverse appearances for like what 6 years now. It's been a while.
See, I knew her for a different role, and it's a role I hate.
What's that?
Wagner.
Oh yeah, thanks Uni. All right. So human katana attack. Attack katana is one of those things where it's like so the katana team didn't really have a reason to stick together before because it's like it's what Uesis, Siegfried, Rengoku, UL,
I
and
mean, we have a
so.
lot more characters now because they kept changing the specifications on the characters.
hmm But there wasn't really a reason to build a katana team like Uesis. Works anywhere. Siegfried is much more about like endurance and toughness, so he gets brought out or for like OTKs. Um, UL fits in anywhere, so there wasn't really a reason to build katana in Fire. They just didn't do anything special or unique, right?
Now,
Especially since Siegfried refers to swords specifically in his passives.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So anyway, what I'm getting at with this is this whole we're starting with her freaking first passive because based on the number of katanas equipped, then she gets boosts. We've seen this with Fiorito, but it's not fists with different names. So that's a big change.
Well, at least also that unlike your, it's actually you actually have a good lot of good katanas in Fire, except for Kolo Katana.
Yeah. Well, remember when we say Kolo Katana, there's two different Kolo Katanas to talk about.
You know which one I'm talking about, though,
I
and it's the
know.
one that drops.
I know. The one that drops is the bad one. The one that unlocks the character Colossus is a good boy. That is a good boy. And so, you even if you don't have Ixabas, you have like the Cap Up Ray of Juquei, you have Xeno Katana, um,
All the
there's
other all the other Jingwei katanas.
hmm yeah, since you have this character, you have one that'll give you skill cap up, which is really good for her. So this thing is a nice little build around. Um, then there is another bit that also cares about Katana in a different way. So she's one of the first ones who cares about specialty and uh, weapons in grid. So like we had Reinhardt Czar, right, who cares about the number of melee specialties in your party. We had like time on target, which cares about
More bow or gun
bow or
character.
gun. We had referring to staff with a few characters. But anyway, so this is the first time it's both grid and bonus damage here. So like there have been videos out there of just stuffing her into a team that has just nothing but katanas, and they're not fire characters, just as a proof of concept, right? It was like Vajra and like 8 or something like that, and they were just showing off how much damage she personally does with Sakura Shadowfall with just a full katana party with 6 hits. Because it's like, what are the numbers on the hits? Do you have those in front of you?
It is 135k per hit, and it goes up to 6 hits.
135k is not not spectacular, but once again, the fact that it hits 6 times and is affected by things like supplemental, cap up,
Kappa.
just yeah. So it's all affected by Seraphic. It all adds up together. So I'm kind of trying to remember how many hits and how much damage the post CA nuke ends up doing in those like demonstration videos. It's somewhere in the what 4 to 5 million range.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot, is what it is. You're right. And so just the passive and the CA alone, you're like, okay, this is pretty good. Um,
We're
because
talking about her ability.
because the thing is also if you can manage to get her to 200 meter because she's a samurai, then she does this twice, and that's 12 hits. And then
Oh yeah.
she has a 4 turn cut to her skill cooldown. So let's take a look at her skill cooldowns and what they mean. So she has like the Shitori style thing, or the this is also on like old samurai. Kengo doesn't really have it anymore. It doesn't bother with it as much. DATA up stackable, and then stackable minus attack minus defense on her first skill.
Those stack up to 40%, the golden number.
That's the
So,
good. That's the really good number. It's true.
and then also the DATA stacks up to 60% DA, 20% TA.
It's which is very solid. It's not like super spectacular anymore, but it's still very solid. How much does the actual nuke do from T Stock Garden?
630k.
That's a pretty solid number. All right, so next up we have Tempera Flurry, which is another reason to have like a bunch of katana characters. This is a 14 turn cooldown, but remember that that's kind of fake because you'll lose a bunch of turns on it from the
It goes to 12 turns at level 75.
yeah. So let's say you hit this button, you're at 12 turns to the next one. You CA twice, you're actually at 8, and by 8 we mean 7 turns to the next one. And so basically by the next time that she's built enough meter to CA again, it'll have cooled down, and you get to start over. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
and
go ahead.
as like we said earlier, number activations is depending on how many katana characters are in the party,
hmm
up to 6 times, and she gets 20 meter every time it activates.
And if there are three katana characters in the party, how much meter does she actually get? Why, she gets it's
Uh,
24
you,
per. So
The passive you're thinking of is actually number of katanas equipped.
Yeah,
But
number of katanas equipped. Sorry, not katana characters. So number of katanas equipped gives her 20% meter build. So instead of 120, she'll get an extra 24 meter on top of that. So she gets 134 meter from pressing this button with the full katana party.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Full katana party and then fulfilling her condition. So that's pretty good. Seems decent.
The nuke is a 350k nuke, but we say these without mentioning any cap ups or anything.
hmm And then the last one here, sushi buffet. Um, so she has freaking no more doubt. Instead of costing 40 meter, it's um
50.
50 meter. And you know what? She deals triple attacks for that, so she's going to get, it's what, 37 for a triple attack, add 20% onto that. It's going to add another 7 onto that, so it's 43 meter, then
She double
another
strikes.
43 meter. And so, yeah,
She
all
double
of
strikes
this.
two turns, by the way.
What was that? Yeah, the last 2 turns, just like No More Doubt does. At least I remembered No More Doubt lasting 2 turns.
That's
Alright, just making sure. I haven't used that button on Kengo in quite a while, so I just remember it. Uh, so yeah. Um, wow. Wow. They really pushed this one, huh?
you also want to talk about the other part of her passive of the other parts of never katanas equipped.
All right. Like, let's see how bad. Let's see how bad and how big it gets. Show me.
All right, in order: 30% perpetuity modifier,
Sure.
50% defense.
Mhm.
The third one is the charge bar,
Right.
20%. And then the boosted CA specs is 50% damage to 30% cap,
30% cap is actually higher than normal because usually when you get these things, isn't it 20% ish? Like,
something like that.
or 10? Let me go look at some of the other ones while you say this. Go ahead.
The last one is 20% damage cap.
That's a lot. That's so much.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it's like for example, Vajra gives the entire team 10% damage cap up. Noah gives I think 10% with his debuff and passive combo. It's what? Let's see. Yeah, it's 10% damage cap up. So, um these boosts to CA specs are pretty good. Pretty good. There's a lot going on here that's they really pushed this one. Like I think they heard a lot of the complaints about what happened with Fiorito, where people were like, we can't equip that many different fists. Like this is gonna be so difficult, and our reward for fulfilling this quest is good, but then the designer's like, okay, what if we had 2 quests? Fill your team with katana characters and fill your grid with katanas. Just all katanas everywhere.
Here's the other thing. This is not isn't Fiorito Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, this one is not an Earth character, so you don't have to worry about your Kaim in the background.
yeah, yeah. That's true because Fiorito herself doesn't actually care about different melee weapon names. It's Earth that cares about the different melee weapon names.
Meanwhile, those two guys with like how many Exabas was in that one slide?
Let me pull up the slide. Hold on. This is important. We're pulling that back up. Uh, but 3 is like a relatively common number that you see with that's a fairly practical number. And then when you just get like super wild, let's take a look. Where are we? Let's go with the radio slides folder, March 2021. Where were we? Evoker breakdown. Aha! Fire uncapped grand weapons. Here we go.
One
Nine
Exaba.
Ixaba, the 9 Ixaba people. Your time has come.
What do you mean you need all 9?
8 Ixaba people. Your time has also come. 7 Ixaba people. Your time has come.
I mean,
6.
there's only 5 effects up for Katana, so
Yeah. So this serves well into the whole thing. So yeah, I'm gonna correct myself. It's not Fiorito who cares about different names. But then again, there are very few fists in Earth that you want to equip more than one of anyway. because a lot of them are really, really specialized. Like, I'm trying to think of the fists in Earth that I would equip more than one of, and it's like hard knuckle,
Maybe bandage if you're trying to survive.
maybe, but there's another garrison weapon that's just as good, so you usually mix and match those. But yeah, I mean, multiple bandages can be a thing. It's true. I guess you
I don't
can
know.
stack Fire Eyes if you're made of old person money?
I'm just excited. I can't wait to get this character right now, though.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, we didn't even talk about her last passive, which is a passive that doesn't require her to be on front field.
Yeah, she has the Water Aglavale passive. On Chain Burst, everybody gets fire attack up based on how high the chain was.
Two
Aglavale has
chain
that in
ten
water.
percent, three chain is 15, four chain is 30, and five chain is 35.
Hmm. Okay. So, yeah. Great character.
Yeah.
And then this is the reason that there's been so much complaining on my timeline. Let's move on to the other character, um, who... Do you have the feeling that they sat on this character design for like 3 years, like kind of like with Monica?
I mean, my joke was they were waiting for a Great Ace Attorney to be localized.
Wait, why Great Ace Attorney? Is he the voice
But
of the Greatest Ace Attorney?
no, he looks like Phoenix Wright.
Oh my god. Okay, so we have a member of our crew who has Nezha and has been trying to make him work. Like, Almond really doesn't care about the meta, so shout outs to you, Almond, and was trying to make this character work, and he was just like, his conclusion was kind of sad. So let's go take a look at what they're trying to do with this and how it ended up landing. So, like, is there a centerpiece to this kit? I guess the centerpiece to this kit is Memories of the War. So you want to build Nezha to 5 stacks, and at 5 stacks, Nezha, a wind character, gets Fire Chaser and casts the wind and fire damage nuke at the end of the turn.
So why is this little note here says he gets Divine Might by using a buff or taking fire damage when he's a wind character?
Look,
Yeah.
sometimes you take random element. Oh! Wait! Remember um, the trials in Lucilius force you to take your weakness damage. Hmm. Hmm.
I'm taking a wind primal. That's not like Tiamat or something.
To Lucilius, you were taking a wind primal that's not Grimnir in one of his forms. Look, I'm trying. I'm trying here, buddy. Uh, Grand Order does random elemental damage? Question mark.
Are you wind of Grand Order?
I'm try. Look, I'm trying. I'm trying here. So realistically, you're gonna get this off of Tailwind Kindle, which is really sad. It's really sad because this has a 10
It's
turn cooldown. Like, what is it at?
nine.
Oh
It's nine
boy.
5. But hey, you know what? It goes on cooldown if you CA.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh huh.
All right. Anyway, so like when you fulfill this condition, so you have to have pressed this button 5 times, unless you're taking random fire damage from a non-elemental boss and you're taking Nezha. Then at the end of every turn, you do Flash Fire Gale. How much damage does each of these nukes do?
Let's see here. Wait, hold on. Why? Wind damage 630k.
Sure.
Fire damage 830k.
It's because of the fire specs up. Like they really wanted to try and push the second element being in
Problem
there.
is with the how the state of the game goes, where if you're bringing on elements, usually the other elements don't work.
I'm trying here.
Okay, yeah, you want to keep trying?
All right, so Soar of the Heavens. It's a 9 turn cooldown for a 180-second debuff for defense down, wind defense down, fire defense down.
The defense down is on dual stack, by the way.
It doesn't stack with mist.
and also it's a 15% defense
Hey,
down.
hey, wait. Wind defense down is not that common, and canceling galleons requires also a dispel in the same turn as the wind defense
Yeah,
down.
yeah. How about that? He kept the spell.
But look, the Primal
Never
Powers
bring.
passive is flavorful and cool. So fire
Uh,
damage reduction on your wind character.
uh,
So when you take that random fire damage or the forced elemental weakness damage, then it's reduced. And then you also get the boost to charge meter for having a second primal on your team, which in wind is going to be what? Tiamat, Grimnir,
uh,
the
uh,
Marigna.
oh, yeah, right. You know the character that can tell someone to just die.
He'll do so much damage before he just falls over.
Oh wait, we forgot a character, Dom.
I'm right.
Rosetta.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is that like this kit is not awful, awful. It's just trying to do a bunch of different things that are more about flavor than they are about effect. So, like, I'm going to move off of Nezha for a second here and go to another one of the characters that I remember that they tried to do this on last time. This was an experiment that they did, and do you remember? Do you remember Fire SR Dante who switches to
Oh,
water mode?
no, I don't.
Yeah, yeah. Very few people do. Most people remember him for this button that just says "Make cats happy."
Yes, that's the only button I remember.
But yeah, he tries to do a water switch to himself. Like
Look, at
he,
this rate, I really don't want a flame glass character.
but yeah, like the the ideal condition for Nezha, right, is a it's an earth um enemy because you're bringing wind that does some fire damage, which is basically Yggdrasil Magna, because Yggdrasil Magna actually does do fire damage. So you know
Yeah.
that's the ideal condition there. It's a long fight because you're going to need to hit the the yellow button multiple times, even if you are taking some incidental fire damage. Like you can't rely on just taking fire damage every turn. And then at that point, he will start throwing out post-turn nukes, and the nuke, if you get it for free every turn, like that's a
Not
good thing to
bad.
have.
Yeah, he gets 30 bar and also heals for 3k every time that casts.
Yeah, like that in and of itself, once that is rolling, that's great. The problem is the amount of time it takes to get that rolling, because it's like we've talked about this before, where it's like it takes a long. They've been trying to fix this for a while, where the hero and princess unit, Stan and Eliza, um, they were just like a couple turns too slow in building up their stacks. So they've been trying to shore that up. They gave them an EMP that gives them what's it called? Steel and Dust. Like they're trying to get these to 5 as soon as possible. And then they updated that design when they created the training buddies. The training buddies are just like, yeah, we just keep these stacks forever. We build them like crazy. And then yeah, like the reward for getting these is is very good and very consistent. So it's like they're trying this one again. But the way that they designed Nezha to get there is for a fight that doesn't exist yet, or a
Yeah,
fight
pretty
that has
much.
been so long obsoleted in terms of threat level that people don't even remember that Yggdrasil Magna does fire damage. Did you remember that?
Yeah, because I run that fight every day.
Do you actually like take fire damage?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, well there you go.
Not a lot. It also barely happens.
Yeah. But anyway, like I see what they were trying to do with Nezha. The payoff that you get for actually fulfilling this like victory condition kind of thing, it's really good. Because then the issue that I have with this is that once you get there, like, what are you doing with all of that meter that he's getting from just firing off flash fire gales? Like, you're getting a 20% fire cut, which is, like, having that constantly up isn't the worst thing, but
Difficult though.
it's really low.
You technically don't want to be taking fire damage initially, anyways.
Yeah, and like in a lot of fights as wind where you're taking fire damage, a lot of the time if you're in trouble, you're bringing Katsulia, and then you're just declaring, "No, that's not fire damage.
That's alright.
That's earth damage." But yeah, like this is
I feel like this will work if Grand Order grids were actually like super viable.
mhm. I feel that. I feel like this could also
You
have
run
worked.
her, you run Athena, and then you run someone else that's also primal.
I also feel like this could have worked if Yggdrasil Malice was an actual fight instead of it being Phronesis, because Phronesis doesn't give a crap about this guy. Like,
Slot this guy around.
yeah, Phronesis just slaps this kid around. But if we'd had like an Yggdrasil Malice, then maybe that's the context that this character is good in. But right now, like I said, like if you want a character who does, if you want a win character who does nuke damage after every turn, well, there's this grindable character, Stariola, who's amazing.
Great.
Another character who does nuke damage after every turn is Vera, who is amazing and also works in short fights. And also in long fights, she just falls over and turns into a Stariola, who also does CA, like, not CA, who does skill damage after every turn. So, I don't know. Fulfilling this quest isn't rewarding enough. Like, I see where they were trying to go. I've said this like 3 times now, but it falls a bit short.
And the minigame you're playing is not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the minigame that you're playing is like the permanent 20% fire damage cut. You're just like, is this a reward? Is this a punishment?
I mean, your reward is the attack up, but
Yeah.
you have, you still have like a lot of sources of attack up that you could have gotten from somewhere else.
Yeah, like it feels like half of his kit is really good. It's just the part where all of the other things, like this is Sword of the Heavens is basically a dead skill. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so now and then like Tailwind Kindle. The parts that matter about Tailwind Kindle are wind attack to your team, and there's a lot of ways to give wind attack to your team these days. Um, and then 20% fire cut. Yeah, this one doesn't exist. The fire attack only exists for himself, and it's like some
Like I
outdated
said, unless we have a Grand Order grid, you know.
or
Anyway.
or two characters he doesn't have synergy with his friends till the end passive, because it's Summer Anila and Petra who do fire damage as wind that I can remember.
I feel like he's gonna get reworked eventually when they see the numbers of his usage.
I also feel this. I feel like there's
I mean,
just
like how... Oh, keep going.
I just feel like there's not enough reward for what you're doing.
My follow up was, look how many times Medusa got reworked.
Which Medusa? Valentine's or the Valentine's Medusa got reworked what, twice?
Twice, I think.
Yeah. Athena's never had to have a rework. She is
I think
per
it was great right off the bat.
she's never been bad ever.
When is switching on a button bad?
Yeah. And I'm just thinking of the other primal pals that you can try and play with Nezha, and once again we're just like Marigno. Marigna's great with him because then they can kill him and he'll bring in Astariola who does his job but a little bit better. Ugh. Anyway, um, they can't all be Shion. I really don't want them all to be Shion, but this one is sadder than most for the ones that don't push the game ahead of a whole lot. All right, so that's that. Um, Other things that happened. So there was an update overnight. Um, the number one um, quality of life change was that if you've already hosted all of your raids for a day, it grays out the button before you had to click in, and then it would tell you, and you're like, oh, I guess I did host all of these. So that's a nice change. It's a really good one. I like that they're making the raid list better. And then the other quality of life change is their promise that you can filter raid rooms. So if we create a room, we can say minimum rank 170, minimum rank 180, 190, and 200. For certain types of people, that's going to be great. Uh, that's not necessarily us because we're both over rank 200 now, but we can filter things out if we're trying to do over other things. Um, and then the big thing was, and for people who were watching the stream as they were coming in, I beat this a few minutes before radio. We have a new Pride of the Ascendant fight, and the new Pride of the Ascendant fight was actually really fun. Have you done the regular Proud yet, or just you haven't done it yet?
No, yet. I'll do it later.
That's fair. I mean, it's been less than 24 hours, so the gimmick of the Golden Knight is she will apply several buffs to herself that can't be removed, and then she'll launch a strong special attack when she fills up. She's immune to being delayed, but every phase there's a little condition that keeps her delayed. So at the first one, it's every 3 million skill damage you do delays her by one. Then every chain burst you do delays her by one. Then every like 25 hits delays her by one. There's 3 phases to it. In Proud Plus, it goes to 5 million chain burst and then 30 hits, I want to say. And the fun thing about this is that it's essentially them porting V2 into V1. Like, this is their solution to trying to create omens. It's like, hey, break this omen. And
I think I would like it better if it was V2 though, because at least it keeps track of how many hits or how much damage I've already done.
that part I will not like argue with, because there was one point at which I was like, how many hits did I do this turn already? Crap. And V2 does keep track of that for you. Shinryu in chat asks, doesn't she have a gimmick with the skills that you use? That's in the very last end of the fight. So it's very similar to Gilbert in that way. It's an advanced version of Gilbert, what they learned from what people hated about Gilbert.
That guy.
Screw that guy. Where the another thing that she does is that in the last phase of the fight, if you hit a red skill, she'll do an AoE nuke on your team. Don't hit red skills first. It's also, yeah, that's the other thing, is it's only based on the first button you hit in a turn.
Instead of every button you ever hit ever.
Instead of every button you ever hit ever.
Thank
Yellow
Gilbert.
yellow button is she puts a 5-hit repel on herself. Blue button, she extends your cooldowns by 2, including things that are off cooldown. They will suddenly have a 2-turn cooldown. Do not hit blue skills first.
Oh, you're telling me hit yellow. Gotcha.
Hit yellow. What's her green reaction? Let me go look at this. It
Because
was.
you didn't have a green skill when you were doing that fight.
She removes a debuff from herself. So green skills are also very good at this. Uh, so yeah, like it's just really interesting the way that this is the advanced version of both Gilbert and the Violet Knight, because the Violet Knight had like these little trials that you clicked on and were like, oh, I have to do this much damage this turn. Oh, I have to do this much damage this turn. Blah blah blah. And then yeah, like I really enjoyed the Golden Knight fight, and um, 25 hits has stopped being nearly as much of a character check since they printed Robin Hood, and so your MC can just be the source of like 30 hits a turn pretty simply.
Yes, the most broken character in the game. The main character.
I saw multiple like no Katura, no Valentine's Grimnir videos of people doing this, where it's like, you know who makes your team triple attack with Chaser? Neon. You remember her?
Next 2 months from now, yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. We'll get to that next. That's the second topic today, or third topic today. Other people were using like Melissa Bell. Melissa Bell fulfills all three of the conditions of the fight, where
It's
she does hits on Hair Saber. She does skill damage, a lot of skill damage on Hair Saber. She
the
contributes to
ignition.
chain bursts at will by being able to ignite. Like I love Melissa Bell. She's a fun character. I'm glad that this kind of fight is one where she can shine. Like people are using Sutera. Um, like I think that this is a very good design. Just like Echidna. Like I was challenged by it. I beat it. I can probably challenge myself even more by restricting myself and not using the Cal. I actually feel like Valentine's Grimnir didn't help me that much. I could have used another character in there and chain bursted more often, and that would have made me feel much better about myself. So I'm just like, maybe I should bring Melissa Bell or like Sochie or something. So I'm like still thinking about things that I could have done better, even though I beat it. Because when I was done, my MC was alive, Grandpa was alive, and Katsulia was alive because Katsulia just can't die. Everybody else had just fallen over because the Golden Knight had taken care of him, and that's like the mark of a challenging fight. And I didn't feel like anything was RNGBS,
That was good.
which is good. Freaking Gilbert, ah, I still hate that fight.
I haven't done that fight yet.
It took me 3 months after getting back from Japan in 2019 to do that fight again.
I'm about to have like enough of the permanent debuffs, and I still don't really want to do that fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another character who could be really good at this is Monica. Like regular ass Monica.
Everything always goes back to regular Monica. She's so good.
She's so good. All right. So that's pretty much that. So what are we missing in Pride of the Ascendant so far? We had the Dark Enemy. That was Gilbert. We had Water was the Violet Knight. Fire was Echidna. Now we're on the Golden Knight. So we're
So
missing a light
light,
boss.
oh yeah,
And
a light boss itself. Yeah,
did we get a wind boss already? Wait, we did get a wind boss. That's Echidna. Wait, did we get a fire boss? Was the Great Wall? Water boss.
we have five. We have five bosses,
We
Tom.
have five? Oh, we do. That's right. Golden Knight is the Earth one. All right, so that's the last one. Light boss. Sorry, I got lost. I got lost for a second there. I'm kind of looking forward to what happens with the light boss to see how they try and deal with six, the problem that they have given themselves.
I mean, that's like dealing with every one of these elements has the how do we work around this one character? Sometimes the answer is we don't.
Yeah, like Katsulia. By the way, the way that they deal with Katsulia in this fight is she just eats your meter every turn. All right,
That kind of everything in wind.
that's not necessarily because there's ways of just pressing buttons to get meter back in wind. You just hit Melissa Bell or whatever. But anyway, all right. So you ready for the last topic of the day?
Yeah, it's a big topic.
It's a big topic. All right. So I woke up one day, and that was the same day as Flash Gala, and I woke up to this. Let me just put this picture up on here. Boom. And I was just like, all right. So this is what it takes for me to get my boy to level 120 for Transcending. Um. So all right. Let's go over these one by one, DJ. So M2 Anima, which they've been giving us
Easier now.
it's easier now. They've been giving us a hell of a lot. Like you can go into Europa for a while. I had 50 gold anima on hand just from like helping other people with Europas. To be perfectly honest with you.
Same. I actually have. I think I have like 70 of each right now.
So that one's pretty easy. Like it's a tough one, but the act of farming water will give you not just the anima for it, but also the quartz to convert that now. So quartz gate is strong, but not as awful as it used to be. Especially since the Omega Anima drop rate was also increased, so you can just end up having a bunch of them lying around. So that's good. Uh,
Because we got it off of free hosts
mhm,
like 2 weeks ago.
yeah. 300 earns.
You drop at least. So
It's a guaranteed drop. It's one of those things where I happens to have 950 around from farming Wamdis specifically, but if you just slam your face into, there may be for some odd reason a something in this game encouraging you to hit 100 Wamdises this month. What could it possibly be? I don't know.
no,
So that one's like the act of playing the game will get you to it. The 100 Proto Bahamut horns. How many did you have on hand?
I have I think 200 right now.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be something that exists to extend the lifespan of Proto Bahamut HL again, because like it's used in Awakenings, it's used in like class champion weapons, and now 100 of them is used to get from level 110 to 120 um, of an Eternal. And so it's just like, all right, well, more reasons to just continue playing Proto Bahamut HL.
The
And,
beauty is that now that free hosts are off, those things will actually pass.
yay!
If you just go in Raid Finder, you'll just find one you can, and it'll probably pass.
The other thing is that there's still at some point the feature coming in where you can do damage while dead, so that eventually, just by being there, the boss will die. So there will be fewer of those like 30 minutes left PBHLs in your raid finder. So yeah, that one will just happen. We're gonna skip the star fragments for a second because that one I actually had by accident.
You had it in prep for something else, and then you dropped that prep.
I just said I looked at the blue skin. I just looked it square in the face. I looked at my Worlds and said, "No, I'm not doing that much Halo again." Um,
Got past Dom.
good job, past Dom. But the thing is that we also kind of expected this at some point. It was either going to be like 120, 140, or 150, basically. So, it's one of those things where once again their release valve on this is Dread Barrage, because it's like, okay, let's just say that you're not a habitual 40 boxer like some of us are. Um, then the method to do this is, let's see, treasure trade, event, Dread Barrage. I actually have 40 of these things lying around because I didn't know what to do with them. Because none of these things really appealed to me. So now, over every two Dread Barrages, you can just fill this in without having to do the like New World Quartz grind and a box grind on top of that. So 40 boxing is not the bear it used to be.
The only problem I had with this was that this happened after Guild Wars happened.
After Unite and Fight was over, yeah, I do not disagree with that. Um, my problem with this is an old friend. Flawed prisms.
Yeah, that's never gonna change, is it?
It, it's like, all right, changing all of these 30 rusted weapons is pretty expensive, but I'm done. And it's like, oh, well, it's time to kiss another 2,500 of these things goodbye.
So you have what, 40 full rusted weapons?
40 full rusted weapons, and that's 10,000 flawed prisms per. So now, remember when I was doing the math on like based on 7,500 per? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
10,000 per now. All right,
it's a lot.
it's a lot.
The
That's
next month, so I can trade in again.
can we get the end of the year boss? Yeah, that just gives us like a bunch of flawed prisms for beating it. Thanks.
That'd be nice.
And then, so this was the surprise for the 120 materials. Um, like the legendary merits just drop from like the high end raids. Like you just get them. That one's going to happen. The one that was a surprise is that last one, which costs, was it 20,000 class points?
Yeah, are you gonna bring up the Inuyama tweet?
Inuyama had 500. He's like, what happened? Because like if you open enough boxes, then CP just come flying at you and you can't use them anymore. Like what a
We
lot of
we
people,
we just had like a lot built up.
we just had a lot built up. So after spending 20,000 of these things, I'm at another 92,000. So by the time I am ready to transcend my sixth Eternal to 120, then this will have gone back to I will have gotten another 8,000 CP. These things just accumulate. You get them as rewards in story events. You get them from like boxes. You get them just all over the place. They're just there. They're things that you haven't even thought about looking at in freaking um like do you ever buy out the CP in an event shop?
No,
Yeah, you buy out the potions. You buy out the like if you're
not the potions anymore.
oh you don't.
Not usually.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, I guess I'm buying up CP if I need them because this is 400 in a rerun, and then there's another few like a few hundred here, a few hundred there. So that one's not so bad. And then the last one, which a lot of people take for granted now. So I had to squint and then look and lean forward for this one. It's actually that's 5 million rupees.
Oh yeah. Fortunately enough, weekend slime exists. That's
Weekend
the
Slime
only fortune.
exists. Also, auto sell helped a lot, and also the fact that there is no reason, there's no need to do like co-op for money. There's no like need to use the money materials for anything. So if you just go into co-op and do your dailies or something like that, then you end up with a few million just banked away in materials. There's a Chuson in the chat. There's a Side Games Cup. Everybody, give him the Zoe face.
Like that.
It's like that. Either that or give him the money emote. Anyway, so like that one was a surprise. And once again, like rupees are one of those things that you take for granted after a while. Like there are times in the game where you go, "Oh no, I'm out of rupees." It's specifically like when you start reducing a bunch of stuff for the first time, or when you are like 5-star uncapping characters, which costs a pretty penny. But after a while, you end up with, like us, where I think last week you just casually dropped what was it, like a million plus
No, I think
on
it was 12
it was
million.
12 million on the boat.
I think it was because I was trying to beat one of our crewmates' his missions.
So that was 2.4 Eternals worth. And how much do you have left?
Let me check. Scrolling up, that's 31 million.
So yeah, I mean, by the time it comes that you've transcended your like seventh one of these things, you'll probably have rebuilt that, if not more.
Depends if I want slime too. It would be rebuilding even faster.
Also true. So overall, it's one of those things here that is mostly grindy but doable. Um, like the 40 box, or spend another gold brick for the 50 materials here. That's a little tough. Wait a second. I have an uncap code that I'd never bothered using. Wait, no, give
Also
it to
have
someone.
an uncap code.
What was that?
I too have an uncap code.
All right. Well, I'm gonna use that. We're doing it. Thanks.
I can't use mine yet. I already built the bows, so I might as well just finish the bows off right now for me.
I already had finished the daggers. It's on to fists. Let me see if I actually redeemed that code or not yet. 1 second. Be right back, everybody. I'm going into the code section.
If you
Uh,
don't know what code he's talking about, it is the 2020 Granblue Fest code from the pamphlets.
book. Is it under books, DJ? Do you know?
For events.
It's under events. Yeah, that's fair. Granblue Fantasy Fest 2020 brochure bonus. I haven't done it yet. Yes! All right, we're in business, boys. We're in business. Let's get 6 to the level 120. We're doing it. We're doing this. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, past Dom. You did present Dom two favors.
You're entering the code. I'm gonna be entering your code on your Skyleap.
Um, I don't think. Oh no, Skyleap can do it. First off, I'm going to find my brochure. Then I'll figure it out from there. Anyway, um, so let's actually talk about the effects of getting each of these Eternals to each level now. So we haven't
Let's
talked
start
about that part.
one by one then.
What was that?
Let's do one by one by starting with Uno or
Okay.
Andre.
So let's go ahead and filter my characters by series Eternals. All right.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Tango Bravo Cheesecake. All right. So I had the Japanese numbers for this up, but we can go through all of these in order. So we start with the number one. So when we last talked about the number one, we were like, we're in a waiting room because the upgrade to the CA, it heals your team. All right. Like there's a,
Ooh, 1K healing for hitting things.
I mean, it works with his fleeting spark because every time he counters off of that, it counts as an attack and heals off, etc., etc. But you know, it was one of those things where it's like, this is unimpressive. We'll see what happens. So at level 120, then he gets a new support skill. That's
Indestructible shield.
Indestructible Shield is his name. Okay, and it's the like Isaac slash Summer Alexiel thing where when Henri takes fire damage, the most fire damage he can take at once is 10,000,
All right.
which is really nice against, say, things like Willness. Willness likes to do single hits for huge damage, so you know it's nice. And then for future content, it's something to keep in mind. Like him, Isaac, they can take single enormous hits and keep on ticking. Where a character like Vayne would go down to one, and sometimes that might actually kill him because has your Vayne ever survived a really big Willness thing and then the random swing after the trigger
I
kills
talked
him?
about this last week.
Yeah, and so Onred won't care. He was just like, oh okay, nice try. So you know
Well, to be fair, Andre also has Armed Bastion.
he also has Arm the Bastion, the fire cut. It's true, but you know this makes him even more unkillable, which is something that he wasn't really differentiated from the other water tanks for before. So that's something. Um,
Speaking of unkillable,
so the thing is that his extra EMP for transcending the edge, the one down here. So it's everyone has damage cap there. His second one is skill cap up, which
it's one kill.
he has one skill that already does a lot of damage, and you're just like, oh, okay, all right, you do you,
Yes.
buddy. But then we get to the third skill, skill upgrade. So we get Arm the Bastion of all skills upgrades, and
It now gains Fire Switch for all allies for 3 turns.
so here's the funny thing about Fire Switch: when you have fire 100% fire cut, and then you Fire Switch, what happens, DJ? What happens to any damage that isn't white?
It does 0.
Any damage.
Yeah.
Like this is the first 100% quote unquote all elemental damage cut that just says screw you to Paradise Lost.
And
Like
also, the Fire Switch stays out.
it stays out for 3 turns. Unlike Europa's Fire Switch, it doesn't care if you took damage or not. It's just out there. That's really good. That's amazingly good. That's actually one of those things where it's like I feel rewarded properly for spending all of these resources on this character. I have like 50 spear fragments, all of this stuff, right?
Also, it can be extended by another Eternal.
I love that guy. We're getting to him in 3 of them. Well, don't steal my thunder. And then this is actually really interesting as well. His third set of EMPs, it gives him a chance to cover for whoever has the least hit points in the party, just passively.
Do we know what the chance is?
It is not listed on GameWith, so I do not know what the chance is. However, so you wouldn't know this because you didn't play old school Final Fantasies. Old school Final Fantasies had paladins, and paladins would sometimes just passively guard and take the hit for whoever was at critical health. And it was one of those things where if it happened, you're just like, that's so sick. Thank you. And it,
I mean, Anre's Ultimate Defender.
yeah, and it actually like because it's always the character with the lowest health, then it happens when it needs to happen. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, you took that hit, but I didn't want that character. I wanted that character to take that hit. You're just like, no, I'm good. That's good. That's a good one. Thanks. So yeah, um, I'm pretty happy with the skill upgrades for Honore. We'll see what happens with 140 and 150, but like other than the skill cap up that's randomly on his 110 upgrade or 120 upgrade, you're just like this all contributes to a very good kit.
Yeah.
It's worth it. He is ultimate defense. All right, on to number two.
Go.
Is she the one that you're working on right now for 120, 130?
Correct.
Okay, that's right. You said you were working on bows. All right, so when she upgrades to 120, is 120 the one where it's
Each
chance
passes.
to dodge goes up as more debuffs stack on the enemy? Was it? Is that the
Yes, that is
wording?
correct.
That was a little weird. Oh, like it
Well, I
works.
think it's trying to make you get have a reason to get her EMP, her normal EMP skill.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, like, it makes her a little more like the updated Nighthound, where when you dodge, you just do this really big nuke, and you're like, oh, cool,
Quote
bonus.
unquote big, quote unquote big nuke.
Yeah.
That nuke's really pitiful, really.
Oh, I'm used to it doing 2 million, which is, I guess, pretty pitiful by today's standards. But it came with invulnerability, so
Oh
I'll
no,
take that.
I'm talking about Toy Yens.
Oh, how big is that nuke actually?
270.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, never mind. I was thinking about Nighthound. Sorry, sorry. I'm sorry
We're
I
talking
doubted
about
you.
Toy Yen.
Sorry, Toyed. All right. Anyway, and then her EMP is one of the most important EMPs in the game that she gets at
The
120. She
success.
gets a second set of debuff suck. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So that's pretty worth it in my opinion. Just the unlocking a second debuff success is usually just like the extra passive I get. Maybe it'll be a payoff later, but the extra debuff success, you're just like, given how she also has the best CA upgrade of them all so far, I'm in. Her
What do you mean? Ending clincher on CA is a good ability.
not and I mean just that alone is still good, but it's the second part. Don't forget the second part, DJ. You're withholding important information about her CA upgrade.
Yeah, that brings us under also strikes twice. Makes it so it strikes twice.
Yeah,
Clincher, yeah.
yeah. So it's like when you look at the big picture, she has the best 110 so far, and then a lackluster 120. You're like, okay. And then at 130, depravity upgrades, and so depravity puts her on the level of a bunch of the other limited characters
I mean,
who. What?
it's clincher that upgrades at 130.
Is it Clincher that upgrades at 130?
Correct.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, I was reading that wrong. So it's Clincher that upgrades at 130. And every time you hit. Well, not every time you hit Clincher. You're just going to be hitting that button infinitely anyway. But it leaves two um, permanent debuffs on when you hit it, which is
Defense lowered and a boosted damage taken. What are the numbers on that? Do you know?
I do not see how much supplemental that you get on it. Game with doesn't
What
have
is
that.
is what defense like 10% or something?
Sorry. Also inflict pinpoint prey. Pinpoint prey. I do not see numbers on it, unfortunately.
So like the only downside is that because it's one of those permanent debuffs, it doesn't technically mesh well with Noah's because they're both defense downs.
They'll both stay on, but it only picks the highest number.
Only for the defense value.
Only for the defense value, yeah.
Other than that, it's great.
It's a combination of the Noah debuff and then Everbane from Halmal the Summon. And so, you get to combine those in an already great character.
Apparently that happens. Let's see here. Yes. Yeah, I like that. Why not?
Yeah. And then the um, EMP that she gets is multi-attack rate up based on number of debuffs on enemy, which is another thing that I don't see numbers on yet.
We'll,
Hasn't been
we'll
tested.
find out later.
We'll
But
find out. But
it's still good to have because she wants a CA as much often, anyways.
and she also continues to have garbage multi-attack. This has not changed in the many years of this character existing. All of her multi-attack has to come externally and from this awakening level. So yeah, that's something that's welcome for her. You know, she's always going to be critting because of Asteroid Jaeger's effect. She's going to be launching giant freaking space nukes with every CA, and you'll get to CA faster. So yeah, there you go.
I forgot it was called Asteroid Jaeger because I have the upgraded version, which is Stellar Termination.
Stella Termination, huh? Nice name. All right, are we moving on to number three?
She got some nice stuff.
So the number three, people were kind of complaining about how her redesign and her new CA kind of weren't focused because it's like, all right, so when she was in Axe, as a reminder, when she was in Axe mode CA got a dispel, and you're just like, what am I going? Why do I want a dispel every other CA? I can't control this. And then um, in Sword mode, it did 3 million white damage, and so it did 1 extra million damage on the second CA, and then you looked at Toya and you're just like, 1 million extra damage, huh? Cute.
Yep. Koei Koto.
All right. Um. Anyway, so what she got at 120, so she gets her new support ability is whenever she is in red health. I wonder how she'll get to red health.
Don't
Uh,
know.
she always triple attacks, which was kind of a one of the reasons that Berserk Forge was like, all right, that was part of the improvements. Now you don't even need to bother hitting this. You just hit ground zero, and you just start doing triple attacks with Earth Chaser. Um, do the numbers on the Earth Chaser exist?
30%.
How much?
30%.
30% for free? That's pretty good. I'm with that. All right, and then her second EMP bonus is HP up, which is actually kind of welcome.
I don't want to have like extra HP to have to survive.
Well, survival isn't that big of a problem because she has 3 turns of Undying worth. But yeah, like this is we're finally starting to see some like focus coming in on this character. It's like, all right, hit ground zero, receive candy. Um, her level 130 upgrade is ground zero upgrades when she is already in red health and you hit ground zero, then she gains triple strike, and
That gives you like an incentive to actually hit ground zero again.
and um, the cooldown goes down to 6 turns.
Ooh.
So all of her abilities now line up, which is it's one of those things that just helps her in general, so that you can have a better idea of like what her timings are to have all of these things line up. Because you know, let's just think about flow, right? Turn one, you hit ground zero. She's in red. Now she always does triple attacks. She always has chaser. Since you're in axe mode to start the fight, you can either hit this button right away and get her to like dodge and counter some stuff.
Ogi faster or CA faster?
hmm Well, a little bit faster. You only get 5 meter per one of these things. You can then hit drain if you want, or this is an interesting one. Like you can do what people have started doing these days and have Keelan as a support summon. And you just hit ground zero again. And you know, it might be that there is a good case for bringing Keelan and having her on your luchador team and just having her, you know, triple attack with 30% chaser with what before whatever other chasers people give her, with supplemental damage by the third hit to make the third one hit even that much harder. And then you attack and she triple strikes with triple attacks, and so it's like there's actually there's a plan coming together here. Yeah, and so yeah, like people were also saying like Ground Zero. I was getting it to around 2 point something million. With the new Ground Zero at level 130, people are reporting like 5 million. So it's on the level of hitting Clincher.
Big Damahe.
Big Damahe. So this character is actually like people are still trying to figure out exactly what setups are the best for this kind of kit, but I like it. I like that she's becoming focused on something, right? Like there was so much distributed, like they're trying to do a bunch of different things, and you don't get the one that you want reliably. And now it's just like, yeah. Cerulean in chat goes, if any of the two effect copy characters in Earth copy the new Ground Zero, they also get the triple strike effect if they're
Oh, that's
also
cool.
in red.
Oh
So,
yeah, because it covers the entire effect of the skill,
and Ground
and
Zero
it's copyable.
is copyable. That's one of the main reasons main things to copy in the old days. And so, yeah, like there's just a lot of potential. There's a lot to look forward to, which is a lot more than like 3.0 fans have had in a long time. Like this is I really like this. There you build teams around this kind of thing. So I'm a fan.
You want to talk about the next character you're a really big fan of?
Oh, what makes you think that I'm a big fan of this guy?
The fact that you broke all these daggers recently.
What do you mean recently? That was like 2 years ago.
Recently,
Yeah, okay, fine. Thanks, Pass Dom. All right, so when Fiorg went up, his 110 was a team boost, and people were like, all right, sure, that's fine. Um, like all of these effects exist on other characters, but having them both in one is really good for Morse Kerta. Um, then when you so all right, hold on. There's gonna be a lot because I remember this taking up 2 tweets because it had so much going on here. So the next once I get this guy to 120, then what's waiting for me there is um,
Edge.
when he takes damage, his cooldowns go down by 1 turn.
His damage skill cooldowns go down by one.
That's very fair. So Gamadian Cross specifically and Carnage.
It
And
has a very long cooldown.
one of
So
yeah, one of my least favorite things about this character is how long the cooldown on Carnage is. So whenever I get a skill refresh, I'm like, yes. Or whenever I hit Four Skies Sorrow, I'm like, yes, I can hit as many Carnages as I want. Because with Maria Theresa in the back, Carnage is worth like 6 or 7 million damage. I love this thing.
so Dom,
What's up?
there's fights where you're pretty much constantly taking damage every turn for every character.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fights like that, actually.
Yeah. So having the spell readily available is pretty nice.
It really is. And also, Gamadian Cross is not a bad button at all. Like, it used
Nope.
to be a bad button, but now, like, these effects are good. You're still just like rolling until you get forfeit, but you get to roll more often for forfeit. Win-win
Yeah.
situation. Um, and then once again, he gets the most important EMP for a character like this. My boy debuff success. Let's go.
You mean one of the debuffers wants more debuff success? Shocking.
I know. It's weird. It's weird, but it's true. So that's 120. I'm really happy with what'll happen with 120. And then at 130, this is what's waiting for me. So Avirati's going to upgrade. And so not only will it extend all allies' buff durations, um, it will also provide 2 buffs of its own, picked from the following list. Number 1 is debuff success. Number 2 is water attack. Number 3 is a shield. Number 4 is multi attack up. Number 5 is ability cap up. So skill damage cap. CA damage cap one time. CA damage one time. And just plain damage cap up one time, which if you have played with Suter, for example, she gives that, and you just want to make sure that you don't waste it on just something trivial. You're like, okay, I have this one. Let's make sure I use it on Carnage and not Gamadian Cross.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I love rolling dice when every face of the die is in my favor, DJ.
Oh, you mean that when it was paralyzed was a yellow paralyzed a long time ago that lasted 30 seconds.
I let's move on. We're moving on from this. But like every single one of those things that I named off it's going to be free and it's there. It's great.
Yeah.
Um so of note, the CA damage cap are I believe separate. Because the DA up and TA up are on the same thing. So you could get CA damage up, and that one could be wasted by just not having it come with a cap up, and you're like, oh well,
Then you learn.
you get two of them. So it's like if you get one of the bad ones, oh no, it's like what's it like playing Mugen? What would Mugen be like if you got two of them?
Broken.
Yeah, yeah, you would. So I'm just like, yeah, let's go. I'm really happy with this upgrade. And so
Do we know if it extends those buffs too? I don't think it would.
it depends on the order of operations. I actually don't know. But I think it gives the buffs after. I think.
Otherwise, the durations wouldn't be listed as 3 turns.
Yeah, or one time. But I'm not sure. I'll let you know in a couple months when this character is level 130. I am not in a hurry to get this character to that level 130 because we've already finished Water Unite and Fight. And so, yeah.
Actually, I think that's something we forgot to mention actually so far.
What's up?
Was that 130 uncapped is actually just that one thing you get from United fights.
Yeah, and I've got that thing waiting. It's just sitting there in my supplies, the Lapis Merit. It's down here somewhere. Just please trust that I have it.
It You can't sell it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, so the main thing about that is that one of these things becomes available every, what, 3 months now? We were talking about this
Yeah.
last time when we were talking about scheduling. And it's like, our next one is in 3 months. So you can by the time July hits, people like us will only have 2 of the July, so possible 8 characters that they can bring to 130. And then when at the end of July hits, we'll know when our next Lapis Merit is going to be.
We also still don't know the 140 and 150 caps.
Yeah, we have no idea what will happen with those. They already dropped the 40 box again note to us. All right. So, that was number 4. I liked that one. The number 5 is one of those things where it's kind of like when with Honor, you're not going to be expecting big offense from her, right? So we got to temper our expectations and remember that this character is the ultimate healer. Fief comes out when you have something that can legitimately kill you. That's kind of like Honor. Well, that's the original use of Honor before he became the Luchador's weapon of choice.
Friend.
Yeah.
Also, with also don't forget Lucio and
Yeah, it's true. So, here's the Fief upgrades. These are new. Number 1, her CA not only debuffs, not only dispels, but now it also delays, which once again makes her like an ultimate survival character. Let me tell you, as someone who has played a whole lot of the number 4, it's really good. It's one of those things. The only time that you don't want it is when it lines up Paradise Lost for you.
Yeah, that's the part I'm scared of because that's the fight I bring her to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we're gonna keep going. Um, she
Also,
gets
I do enjoy the name of the attack.
super duper special attack. Was it?
Yeah, it's very fifth.
It's very thief. All right, so on to level 120. So level 120. Her I don't know the numbers on this, but her support skill is one of those things where you look at it and you go, huh, because she does something that no one else does, which is lowers the amount of damage that your team takes from turn-based damage, so burn, slashed, stuff like that. Um, I don't know how to feel about that one.
I really don't know how I feel about that.
And what's that?
I said it exists.
I mean, it reduced the amount of damage you take, but it's like if you're taking turn-based damage, you're usually just clearing it off with Blessing of Light the next turn. Although, admittedly, they're being much more like liberal lately about going, yeah, you can't veil this, or um, I don't know. I mean,
But
there's a
blessing of light is not even veil.
yeah, it's just 100% debuff resistance. It's like, do you ever actually get slashed in Blue Silius when you have Thief on your team?
I don't even get slash half the time anyways because my debuff resistance from my grid.
Yeah, and then like there's this character Mishra that exists who also is just like, yeah, we're not taking debuffs, we're not doing this anymore. I guess it's fine in Fedial, but honestly, in Fedial, like I'm either at full health or it's below 40%, and so
Can't even heal off anyways.
a bunch of her buttons don't do anything anymore. Uh, so I mean, it's there. It's not spectacular. Um, her 120 EMP is debuff resistance again. And you're just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Moving on.
moving on. So one of the worst 120s so far. Then
130, right?
what was that?
130's all right.
130 is all right because Blessing of Light gains dispel cancel.
On a 5 turn cooldown.
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah. Because
Uh,
what Noah's is like what 12 turns for his dispel cancel.
mm-hmm. And then her unique EMP is one of the weirdest ones yet, where she increases the debuff resistance to all light allies to zombied and cursed.
What's the percentage on this? Because
I have no idea.
well, anyways, this would matter in Lucilius if it was like a big number.
Because the zombie, yeah, like one
Yeah.
of the most scary things that happens to you in Lucilius is, oh god, I'm a zombie.
But also don't forget she also has skill 2, so she gets rid of that part and
Yeah,
then heal.
yeah. So
So I don't really know the true meaning of this
is
unless it's try. We're later down the line we're getting a thing where he says he can't clear this and it always hits.
is this yeah
You
this
know, even if it always hits it doesn't matter then.
this
You're
has
getting
to be
hit.
some kind of future proofing. The question is if they ever actually follow through on the thing they're future proofing against. Because remember when Silva got these passive effect that if they're what is it, if they're like dodging, she will always hit.
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten
Do you know any fire enemies that dodge that often?
no. But if hey, if you bring Silva to Elil,
I bring Silva to those stupid fire bees from uh what was the racing event?
Platinum Sky,
Platinum Sky 2.
yeah, get I don't know. So it's one of those things where you just have to think, do they have a plan for that one? I don't know. If they have
Maybe
a
we'll find
plan,
out in a couple.
yeah. All right. So we're moving on to the number 6. Let me click on the proper one, the one with the ring and the new art. So 6 has probably the worst level 110 upgrade to his CA out of all of the lot. It was, but you know what? I'm okay with it because it's still good. So at 1, it has the sickest animation. I'm a huge fan of Essence of a Demonic Asura. in terms of animations.
You mean it doesn't have the feet anymore?
It doesn't have the feet anymore. Before this, before this 6 star, I had him skinned as his event version so that he could do the moon slash. Anyway, so it's like Heavenly Howl is it's his unique gimmick, and going up by 2 actually does matter, but pass it accelerates his ramping by 2 turns because normally you just gain 1. So it's fine. It accelerates him being a god, but he kind of already is a god, so keep moving. Just keep moving. At level 120, his new passive is that. Hold on, let me pull this up again. Based on his Heavenly Howl stacks, he gains dodge percentage, and that's in addition to remember that he gives himself mirror image and dodge all on his CA. So
Unfortunately, dodge when he doesn't have those up. That's
yeah,
pretty good.
he has dodge when he doesn't have those up, or with Thunder Flash, the dodge tank and counter. So it's yet another layer of defense to keep his Heavenly Howl from falling by all of 2 stacks, which he would recover easily.
Well, you still don't want to get hit, so it's fine.
Um, his unique EMP is amplify counter damage, which is actually kind of amazing.
Kind of dumb.
What's up?
I said that's actually kind of dumb.
It's so dumb. Have you experienced the just like the Angry Six experience where he dodges 6 Beelzebub attacks and just returns every single one of them?
Since I used them in that fight.
Yeah, it's so great, and now it can get amplified. Thanks.
20% amplify, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Level 130, Thunder Flash upgrades also. Um, and when he has 6 Heavenly Howls, then this button will give him double strike.
That's dumb, and I like it.
That's so dumb. It's so great. This is why
I
he's
mean,
got
remember,
to.
he only have double strike for. He only gets double strike normally for 4 turns. So having more double strike on this character, why not? Why not?
Let's do it. Yes. Um, and hey, speaking of which, his level 130 unique EMP start the fight with more Heavenly Howl stacks. So
3 stacks. That's pretty nice.
yeah, 3 stacks. Then you CA once, and it's another 2. So basically, on turn like 3, he has double strike with Thunder Flash. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
I love things that reduce ramp time,
Mm-hmm.
as we've seen with versus Connect recently with Chiharu.
Look, that character was straight up bad, so reducing that ramp time is important.
Her new minimum is that ramp time.
Yeah,
Is
it's her old max. It's her new minimum. That's so they realized like how far behind everyone else she was. But yeah, so that's 6. Um, he's second in line. As soon as July hits, this guy is hitting level 130. Maybe he'll be the one who hits 130, and it'll be Fior who is the one who gets the second Lapis Mirror. I don't know yet. I don't have to make that.
wasn't 6 one your like your very first one or not?
6 was my very first Eternal period, and he was my first 5 star.
How you gonna do him like that if he's not gonna be the first 130?
Okay, look. I was going to hold off. I was going to hold off on it largely because of like um, rusted fists and stuff like that. But now I'm just remembering. It's like I can save
You don't
myself
have that anymore.
I can save myself 2,500 flawed prisms. Thanks, past me. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of this one. Huge fan of what they did to these characters. Possible exception, Fief, but I think that overall, like whenever we've had questions, the next step has given us more reason to believe in. It's like, okay, there's a plan here.
We say that, but you forget the beginning of the podcast.
Look, okay, sometimes there isn't a plan. Sometimes there isn't a plan. Sometimes the plan is, oh, sorry, Nizza. we'll make a fight where you're good. I swear. You know how long I've been saying about that about Chat Noir?
Uh, yeah, about that.
Yeah, but yeah, as Guest Benz does say in chat, like Thief getting delay is great. The other ones are kind of questionable, but still, like that's saying a lot that a character getting a reusable delay was the worst of these upgrades. So anyway, um, that is it for this edition of Granblue Radio. It was a long episode. Sorry, DJ.
It was not. It was not a mid length one. You lied to me.
I did lie to you. Is it time for the return to the Mac? Is that what's happening?
You lied to me.
But anyway, so this time next week we'll be in um, the new story event. We'll have seen what Proving Grounds had in store for us. We'll talk
Proving
about
ground starts
that.
in 2 hours, by the way.
What was that?
I said proving ground starts in 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it's 2 hours. All right, well I'll stay up for that one. Anyway, and until then, thanks for joining us. You can hit us up on the channel and tell us. Well, tell me specifically if I should uncap 6 or 4 first. Who gets that merit? Race for the bag. Secure that bag, kids. And until then, I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me, DJ. Thanks for joining me,
Yeah, no
everyone.
problem. Y'all have a nice night now.
Y'all have a good night. It's time to watch zombies.
It's always zombie time.
It's always zombie time. 6 do big number. Oh, come on. But what about rolling dice where they're all in my favor?
That's 3 6s so far.
Well, hey, that means that 2 more 6s and I get Yahtzee. 6. Okay, that's 4 6s. Nope, you don't. Guess Fez, you don't get 2 votes.
I count as 5.
Yahtzee. All right, I've now won at dice. See, that's what happens when you roll loaded dice. We're good.